to the RunRX Podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Welcome back to Tough Love Tuesdays. If you listened to last Tuesday, you know I started talking at the end about resisting. And that's my topic for you today. It's really powerful. And I talk to a lot of our students about this, and it invariably comes up. Because one of the hardest things for our students, there's two hard things that they have usually are struggling with. The first is the fall and that fear of falling. And the second is control. Okay. A lot of us run. I'm totally a victim of this. We're kind of control freaks. So letting go of that control that I keep talking about when it comes to gravity, that there's no do in putting your foot down. The do is the pulling up. That's it. Everything else, where the foot lands, how it lands, when it lands, that has nothing to do with you. It's only the up. Okay. So you have to let go of control. And you have to let go of the fear that you're going to face plant, right? You've got to let go and let your body fall, okay? So these two things bring up a huge amount of mind drama and resistance in all of our runners. And I find it fascinating because what you don't realize is when you resist, right? That's usually when you cause additional problems. And I'm going to give the example of eating because I talked about weight last week. I kind of want to bring it back into that. When you eat to excess, or you eat because you're bored, or you eat mindlessly, or you eat because you're tired, if you're not eating for a reason like I'm hungry and need fuel, it's usually because you're masking something else. Maybe, like I said, you're masking being tired and not getting enough sleep. You're masking being bored with what you're doing. You're masking with being frustrated. I got to tell you, if I have a problem at work, any kind of stress, I immediately, like, my mouth craves potato chips like you would not believe. It's a crazy response, like Pavlov's dog. So what a lot of weight coaches will do, and as a life coach, I do this with some of my clients that aren't runners. We focus in on really being mindful of when you're eating and why. Okay. It's not about starvation. It's not about changing like your whole diet. It's really about just being mindful and understanding why you're eating. Because a lot of times we'll do these movements, we'll do these things, and I bring up food, but this could also be if you drink a lot. This could also be if you shop a lot. But again, bringing it back to running, this is what a lot of runners do. Maybe I know quite a few runners that don't drink. Okay, they don't smoke, they don't shop too much, they don't even work too much. What is their passion? Their passion is running, and usually that is to fill a void about something you're not wanting to face. Okay. And so you resist the fall, you resist the letting go and trusting that gravity will place your foot because you believe that if you let go, something bad's going to happen and you don't want to handle that feeling. That feeling is like horrible to you. It's the same feeling that a lot of alcoholics will have, or even a lot of people that are overweight. If I lose the weight, this will happen. Or if I speak back to my boss, I'll be fired. These are all the things you're resisting. And by resisting, you're filling it with these other topics, right? So what I want you to work on this week, and this is going to be a powerful one, is are you resisting falling? Are you trying to force the control of your foot? And I want you to really look at your thoughts. Some of my students will do what I call a thought download. And they'll just like spew out all their thoughts. Like, this is what I'm thinking, blah, 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 blah. And then we'll take a look at it. And I want you to take a look at it and see, what do you think is going to happen if you let go? What do you think is going to happen if you trust gravity knows where the foot's going to go? Okay. Are you afraid of shin splints? Are you afraid of face planting? Okay, fine. What happens if you face plant? What happens if you trip? What happens if you do hit wrong. Is it the end of the world? Like a lot of times it's truly just a feeling of I'll be embarrassed or I'll be frustrated or I just don't know what'll happen. I'm afraid of the unknown. So I want you to really give some thought to that and then just sit with that feeling. The one that I'm thinking about, which is why I wanted to put this podcast together, was I was talking to one of our students, and her big thing was on the plan, it said 1 hour. Well, but what if you don't feel like doing an hour? What if you don't have enough time for an hour? What if your focus work was really great for 20 minutes, but then after that, you lost it. You lost your focus. And she was very emphatic about, but it said 1 hour. Okay, so what happens if you don't do what the sheet of paper says? What's going to happen? Is your coach going to be upset with you? Are you going to lose fitness? Like really figure out, what do you think is going to happen? And what she realized was she was really putting a lot of thought or care about what others thought of her. And I said, okay, let's think about that. What if they do think, what bad things could they think? Well, they could think I'm lazy. They could think I'm not coordinated, that I'm not committed, right? These are things that she was like thinking of. I said, okay, so what? So what does that mean if somebody else thinks you're lazy? Are you lazy? And she was like, oh, gosh, no. And I said, okay, then why would you let somebody else like have that kind of power over your thoughts? And that's what she was resisting. She's resisting feeling like somebody doesn't like what I'm doing, or somebody isn't appreciating how I'm working out, or they disapprove of what I'm doing. That's a big one. So I want you to kind of, if those are some of the thoughts that you're getting, sit with that. What does that feel like? Is that in the pit of your stomach? Does it make you nauseous? Does it feel like you've got a whelp in your, like you're verklempt, you want to cry, it's right in your throat? And then just let it pass. Feel it. Let that feeling come through your body. Now, you might not be able to take it for long. Okay, the next time, just like your practice, you're going to practice feeling that feeling. Because just like the practice makes you stronger, right? It improves your muscle memory. When you sit with those feelings that you're trying to avoid, that actually improves your mental memory. That improves your resilience and your ability to handle tough situations. It's not that people that seem stoic or seem, they just seem to be able to handle anything. It's not that they're not feeling or not compassionate. It's that they've gotten used to feeling the failure or feeling the disconnect or the heartache or whatever it is. And they know that they'll come out on the other side. It doesn't feel great right now. This is not a great feeling. I'm not happy about this. I'm really sad. But I know that over time, I will pass through this. That's all you need to do. So that's what I want you to work on. Really look at, what are you resisting with falling? What are you resisting with letting go? And really letting gravity control where your foot goes, and see what happens. And we'd love to hear about it. If you want, you can email us at support@runrx.fit. Let us know what you think. If there's something that comes up and you want to, like, what would that mean? I'll answer it on the podcast. We would love to hear from you, because running and movement and exercise, they're all so tied together. And we know that if your mind gets right, that shift can happen so much faster in your movement. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us on the RunRX podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.